And the angel blew on to Mary, and she conceived.
مریم من جبرئیل فرستاده پروردگار تو ام تا پسری پاکیزه به تو عطا کنم.
After she conceives, the Quran's version differs from that in the Bible.
There is no Joseph in the story, in the Quranic story. She's alone, completely alone, with this burden, literally a physical burden.
Instead of being protected by Joseph and giving birth in a manger, Mary's labour takes place alone, under a date tree in the desert.
The discomfort of being heavily pregnant in the desert, alone, knowing that you're carrying this sort of scandalous, burden, if you like. And she's in the throes of labour. And there, in the pain, you see her humanity and you relate to her, and she's like, would that I be a thing undone? Would that I be dead before this?
God spoke to her, comforted her. This is one of the most beautiful things that could ever happen to anyone, that you've been tried and you've gone through the rough bits, and now God comforts you. And God spoke to her and said,
تشنی به زمین زیر پایت بنگر. خداوند برای تو چشمه‌ای جاری کرده است.
To her people, as an unmarried mother, she causes outrage.
She's got to go back to her people and explain it. But instead of being able to explain herself, the angel imposes silence upon her. And the people are scandalized by what's happened.
پدرت که مرد بدی نبود، مادرت هم که فاجره نبود. مریم، این چه رنگیست که به بار آورده ای؟
Mary points to Jesus.
از ما میخواهد با این بچه سخن بگویی.
What did the child do then? Yes, Islam. He talked. Could you believe a baby talking? But that baby, a newly born baby, raised his head up to the crowd and says,
من عیسی مسیح بنده خدا هستم. خداوند به من کتاب آموخته و مرا نبوت داده است.
In the Quran, this is the first miracle of Jesus. The Bible's first miracle is Jesus turning water into wine at the age of 30.
Jesus is born without a father, and he's born speaking. So basically it's saying, I can do whatever I want.
The ability to talk as a newborn child is one of many miracles not recorded in the biblical account of Christ's life.
We have more sayings in the Islamic tradition about Jesus than you'll find in the Gospels themselves. So there is a possibility that other things did happen.
There were many Gospels around that didn't all make it into the New Testament. And the church tried to limit the number of Gospels and lives of Jesus.
Isa alayhi salam had the power to take mud in his hand, shape it and form it into a bird, and he will say to the Creator, let it fly as a bird, and it will fly.
For many Christian scholars, though, these miracles are mere fantasies.
There are a number of stories that are alluded to in the Quran and fleshed out in later Muslim tradition that don't occur in the Bible about Jesus. Perhaps the two most famous ones that the Quran alludes to would be Jesus turning clay birds into real birds, and Jesus talking in the cradle. Interestingly, we know where both those stories came from. Both those stories were invented by pious, well-meaning Christians in the years between sort of 200 and 300 AD.
I mean, it's very difficult to verify those things. The New Testament tends to record eyewitness accounts of things that Jesus actually did that were witnessed by and then sent out at a time when people could refute them. And they have a different kind of quality. So it seems quite a random miracle for a baby to be speaking and for birds to be made out of clay.
Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, one of his sons was called Sam, died many, many years before. And Jesus, peace be upon him, brought him back to life and said, look, this person's from long ago.
They were pious fairy tales, would be the best way to describe them.
The miracles performed during Jesus' life may cause debate among Christians and Muslims. But it's the Bible's and the Quran's conflicting accounts of his death that go to the heart of the differences between the two faiths.
It's so radically a Christian view that I think it really bothers a lot of Christians. Just the idea that, hey, this is our Jesus.
The Islamic version of the events of Jesus' life contradicts many core beliefs of the Christian faith.
In the Christian narrative, the most central and fundamental point of Christianity is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Well, Islam basically denies that.
وقولهم إنا قتلنا المسيح عيسى ابن مريم